We back with another Davinci Resolve tutorial. Today we'll be doing another part following from the first video I made on flow effects and transitions. Today we'll be doing a few more of those and I'll be talking you through how to do them. Alright, let's begin. So the first effect I'll be teaching you is this FUI Designer. However, this is a plugin and I will tell you how to install it, and it is free and it can be used on Davinci Resolve's free version. So what you want to do is open up your Chrome browser right here, and you want to go to this website. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. Then what you want to do is go to find file, and you just want to type in FUI, and then you want to install the ones with .fuse on them, so all of these 6. The rest don't really matter, just install these. So you click on it and then you click download right here, and then you put it whatever you want. Then you want to go to the Fusion page, Fusion on the top, Fusion settings, path map. You want to click fuses, and you want to click this little icon here, and it'll take you to the place. Then you want to open up your file explorer on another page, and then you just want to drag it in there. Then for it to work, you have to restart your Davinci Resolve, and then it will be installed. And then you can just go into an adjustment clip, shift space, FUI, and it'll show up like this. Okay, now that we got the install out of the way, let's start with the actual effect. So first of all, you want to retime control your clip. You want to part at the beginning where it's fast, so around here, and then I'm gonna just drag this to make it faster at the beginning, like that. And you want to add another speed point, change the speed to 50%, and then just drag the rest down to make it fast again. So it'll slow down and then it'll get quicker. Then for the actual FUI Designer, you want to grab an adjustment clip, then go into your Fusion page, add a merge node right here. So what you want to do is grab an FUI Designer. You want to grab this one, add it, connect it to your merge, then also get a background, and then connect to your FUI Designer. And then it will look something like this. I also want to shout out innarxi, as I did not find this effect or where to install it. So shout out to his YouTube channel and his tutorial. Okay, let's continue. So this right here is the mainframe. You can use this if you want. Okay, you can change the height and the width. You can also add nodes, etc. I will not be using the mainframe for this, but you can use this if you want. I have used it. You want to go to this one, center shape right here. Then you want to tick this. Then you just want to increase the sides. I'm gonna make the shape a bit bigger. Then you can also enable the center shape B. And as you can see, it's already coming along like this. What I do with these is I add a rotation and a scale keyframe at the beginning of my clip, and then add one at the end. So I want the scale, I want it to get bigger, and then I want it to rotate throughout the clip. Then you just want to smooth these out in the spline editor. And for it to actually show onto your clip, you want to change the composite mode to screen, and as you can see, it shows up. So you can also change the color by going to look, by scrolling like this, and you can change the color to whatever you like. I'm gonna leave it white for now. And as you can see, it zooms in and it also rotates throughout the clip. Another thing you can do is rotate these middle shapes, so adding 2 keyframes at the beginning, at the end again, then going to your end frame and changing them. For example, it could be like this, and going to the start and making them like that. Change the shape in the center. So with this, with this plugin, you can mainly just play around with it as much as you like. You can also add center nodes like this, change the shape of them. You can also add text if you like. I just wanted to show this as it is free and is one effect that I've used quite a lot in my recent edits, and I think it's quite effective. So yeah, this next effect I'll be doing is this mask morphing effect that I did in my recent Rodan edit. To begin, you want to get a adjustment clip. I'm going to do mine about 7 frames long. You can do it longer if you'd like, or shorter depending on your clip. What you want to do is get an image of what you would like your clip to morph into. So I'm going to do this pro shape, and I'm just going to adjust the size so it's a little bit smaller, something like this. Then go into your adjustment clip and you want to add a polygon mask. Then you want to disable this for now, and whilst you're on the first keyframe, create a random mask around your clip. Make it a bigger size for the beginning so that you can then alter the shape. So once you have your rough shape, you want to go into your next frame and you just want to adjust it. It doesn't really matter however you feel is right, then it probably is going to be okay. So once you get to the end frame, what you want to do is basically, it doesn't have to be perfect, but create a mask around what shape you have chosen. So once you enable the mask, you'll look something like this. Now you can remove the image, then enable it. Go to your spline editor, select all the points and just smooth them all out. What you want to do is increase the soft edge a little bit, and you can also increase the border width. To make this look better, what I suggest doing is also, instead of these sharp points, is adjusting them so that they are curved instead of sharp. So if you have these curved lines, it would look better and smoother. That's pretty much it for the morph mask effect. Moving on to our final effect. Well, it's not really an effect, it's more of a scene. So first of all, I like to add a solid color. Change the color of it to this sort of white cream color. Then what you want to do is get your clips or images. In this case, I'll be doing images. You want to make it 2 frames long for each image or clip. Then what you want to do is adjust them so that they fit. I'm going to adjust the size. I like to also crop a little bit of the bottom or the top, as I want the eyes to be the main focal point. If you want to get the exact same size, what I like to do is change the opacity. Then make sure they fit into each other like that. And then just reset the opacity once you're done. I'm just going to duplicate it as it is a bit too short. So that's much better. It's a bit bland right now. So to make this better, you're going to add an adjustment clip. Go into it, add a transform node, keyframe the beginning, keyframe the end, do around 1.4. Then what you want to do is add motion blur. Go into your spline editor and do this curve right here. This curve is basically, it'll zoom in at the beginning and then at the end it'll do a full zoom. Now if you want to be a bit more advanced, what you can do is, instead of cropping it like that, you can do a polygon. You can do a bit of a trace around the eyes more specifically. Something like that. And I'll have a bit of a better effect rather than just a straight up box. Another thing you can do now is merge the things from today's video, such as the FUI Designer. You can now merge the FUI Designer and this to create a pretty nice scene, something like this. Then to make this a little bit better, towards the end you can add a little flash. Another effect you can add is flicker to this, flicker addition. Another thing you can add is a radial blur. So another adjustment clip, shift space, radial blur. As you can see, it adds a blur around the main focal point. And obviously, to make this better, you can add all sorts of other things. For example, you could add text in the back. You could add a shake if you want at the beginning of this. And yeah, that's pretty much the scene. The last thing that I'll be doing is this rotation transition. So add an adjustment clip, make it around 4 to 5 frames long. I'm gonna make it 5. Transform node, add a keyframe at the beginning for angle, and at the end, then you just want to change the angle to around -8, and you want to mirror these. Then go to your spline editor, and do this curve. I'm gonna grab another adjustment clip, add another transform node, keyframe the beginning, keyframe the end, go from around the same point, so -8, and then to 0, and do this curve. Those are some more flow effects and transitions you could use in your flow edits. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, see you in the next one.